Every time you talk to Dota players about roles, you get the same answers. Mid? They're the playmakers. Carry? The superstar, the showstopper, the guy everyone's waiting for. Support? The unsung heroes, the backbone. But offlane? Offlane gets weird looks. Oh, you just pick some tanky hero and feed. Oh, just survive until 10 minutes. Offlane is easy. Anyone can do it. Nah, man. Offlane is misunderstood. Today, I'm going to tell you why offlane is the most misunderstood role in Dota 2, and why, if you actually understand it, you can dominate games without ever touching mid or carry. Let's start with what people think offlane is. Most casual players treat offlane like a suicide mission. You pick a beefy hero, maybe an Axe, a Tide Hunter, a Mars. You sit under your tower, get zoned out by double range supports, maybe soak XP, maybe die a few times, and pray your carry carries. Wrong. Offlane is not about surviving. Offlane is about control. It's about pressure. It's about forcing reactions. It's about being the guy who ruins the enemy carry's dream of free farm. The best offlaners? They don't just exist in lane. They dictate the lane. They make life miserable for the enemy's safe lane. They force supports to stay babysitting when they really want to roam. They break the enemy's early momentum before it even begins. You're not a punching bag. You're the guy making sure their late game never happens. Now let's talk about what makes offlane hard. It's not just mechanics. It's reading the map, understanding tempo, making sacrificial decisions that other roles don't have to. Offlane is brutal because you're constantly playing between two extremes. If you play too passive, enemy carry free farms. GG. If you play too aggressive, you get 2v1, 3v1, ganked, chain-fed, tilted off the face of the earth. There's a thin, razor-edge balance. Good offlaners know exactly when to dive for a kill, and when to back off and just absorb XP. Exactly when to trade their life for a tower. And when to say, nah, not worth it yet. No other role dances on that line like offlane does. And it's not just about landing phase either. You know how everyone praises carries for their crazy late-game damage? Or mids for their game-winning initiations? Guess who has to start those fights most of the time? That's right, the offlaner. You blink initiate. You tank the first 3 spells. You get chain-stunned, mana drained, griefed, and you still have to survive long enough to create the opening. You don't get the glory. You don't get the rampage. You're the tip of the spear. You break the enemy's formation so your team can clean up. And if you screw it up, if you miss your initiation, if you go too early or too late, the entire fight collapses. That's pressure most players don't even realize. Another reason offlane is so misunderstood? Versatility. Some games, you're a tanky frontline monster, Centaur, Bristle, Tide. Other games, you're a semi-carry, Beastmaster, Legion, Razor. And sometimes, you're basically the initiator and the backup carry rolled into one. Like with Mars, Doom, or Underlord. Your item builds are flexible. Your responsibilities change based on your draft, your lanes, your timings. You can't autopilot. A good offlaner has to understand the bigger picture faster than anyone else. Is your carry getting crushed? You might have to go build damage. Is your mid winning hard? Focus on space creation and pushing. Every offlane game feels different because it is. No 2 games are the same. And that's why cookie-cutter offlaners get stuck in low ranks forever. The offlaners who adapt, they climb. Let's talk about the mental game. Offlane can break your spirit if you're not mentally tough. You're going to get tri-laned. You're going to get tower dived. You're going to have games where you get no farm for the first 15 minutes. But you can't rage. You can't give up. Because offlane isn't about looking good in the first 10 minutes. It's about being relevant at 20, 30, 40 minutes. The best offlaners know, even if their lane sucks, even if they're behind, one big blink stun, one clutch initiation, one perfectly timed BKB can flip the entire game. Offlane rewards patience and grit like no other role. So if you're out there grinding Dota and you think offlane is just tank and die, think again. Offlane is the thinking man's role, the strategist's role, the role that wins games quietly while other players scream about KDA. Next time you play offlane, remember, you're not just holding a tower. You're holding the fate of the mid-game in your hands. The unsung hero. The wall. The first into battle, and sometimes the last one standing. Respect the offlane. Master the offlane. And trust me, you'll never look at Dota the same way again. If you agree, or if you have some wild offlane stories, drop them down in the comments. Tell me your favorite offlane hero, your most epic blink initiate wombo combo moment, or the time you 1v5 because nobody respected the brick wall you became. Smash that like button if you're an offlane warrior. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into the soul of Dota. And until next time, hold the line.